Mining and production sales figures a short while ago, around 11:30. Mining production increased by 0.8% year-on-year in February 2021. I'm joined now by the Chief Economist at the Minerals Council, Henk Langenhoven. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. So what were the biggest contributors to growth, and is there anything to read from that?
Afternoon. It's actually quite exciting. I would like to remind you that in January and February, we were still going full out. It was before the lockdown. So these numbers are actually telling us that we are getting back to the levels that we were before the lockdown. There's another one that is not mentioned, and because it's not calculated, but we are actually also about 1% higher than the average production we were at before the lockdown. So it's showing that there is some recovery happening. And I must say, statistically, it would get better the rest of the year because March already last year was not a good month. And April, of course, was virtually dead. We dropped to 50% of our capacity and then recovered after that. So the rest of the numbers for the year would actually look quite nicely. What has been quite strongly contributing to this number, and remember, this is physical production, so it's measurement of tonnage produced. Of course, diamonds it's carats, it's not huge volumes, but it's quite pleasing to see this because they were heavily influenced by the lockdown, because you talk about lots of people and that couldn't get on site. So they were doing nearly 30% better. And then manganese ore, you know, that is in the middle of the country. They're very dependent on rail transport as well as harbor performance. And they've been doing quite well, 22% better than last year. Iron ore as well. That's actually very pleasing. As you know, the spat between China and Australia, and China is looking for iron ore from other suppliers as well as coal. And iron ore has been able to improve for the year up to February. It wasn't that good for the first 2 months. They were not doing that well, but they've been doing better by nearly 30%. So those are the big volume ones. The disappointment is really coal, and coal is very simple to understand. Eskom is buying less coal because the economy is not demanding that much electricity. And we have major problems with rail transport to Richards Bay, which is, of course, the coal export harbor. So if we could solve some of those logistical issues, then it could just go better.
Henk, we've seen that production in the sector has been in negative territory since last year. Can you talk to me about to what extent has higher commodity prices been a saving grace for that sector?
Well, that's exactly as you say. It's been a saving grace. I've been looking at sales at the prices specifically. If I can, and the rand price is really what is important for us, not necessarily the dollar price. But if you think of coal is 10% better on a 12-month basis. Iron ore is nearly 50% better, the prices on a 12-month basis. Gold is still about 30%. Although it's been receding slightly, and platinum specifically, not rhodium and palladium, nearly 20%. So overall, we are still in over 20% improvement on commodity prices landed in South Africa. Of course, it's a dollar price plus the exchange rate. And after again a huge roller coaster year. Our sales dropped, for example, in the second quarter of last year by nearly 23%, and it jumped back by nearly 50% in the third quarter, and was better in the fourth quarter. So it did continue. The 12-month number is 11%. So that is with the escalation in the prices. And the shorter-term indicators are all 25%, 23% better. So that has been really a blessing, and to a degree a windfall. And contrary to what the World Bank has been predicting, that commodity prices will decline over the period because of lower demand, because of economic growth that slowed down. That didn't happen. The second thing that they said was that supply chains, and now just to explain that, we are the beginning of a supply chain, for example, for a steel factory in the East. That hasn't really happened. We have not seen supplies to us really interrupted, except talking about steel. We have shortages of steel at the moment, and of course electricity to a degree. But we have actually been able to recover, well, in terms of the financial performance, let me put it that way, because of the better commodity prices.
Henk Langenhoven joining me. He's the Chief Economist at the Minerals Council. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. It's time for a short